Can I use Beastie Bloomz in my outdoor plants? This is a great question by Alan. You're here with Mark Bowell at perfectgardens.com. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, can you use Fox Farm Beastie Bloomz in your outdoor plants? Yes, you can. And actually, just to be clear, if you are growing outdoors and if you're only using a few plants every year, this would be a great product because there's no shelf life on it, and literally you are able to just keep pulling it out. As long as you're leaving it, storing it in a dry area, this product will last a season until you use it up. And personally, I actually like using dry nutrients or fertilizer over liquid any day of the week. A lot of people don't know this, but if you do use liquid fertilizer, about 99% of the bottle is water. So really, your biggest bang for your buck is going to be in dry nutrients or fertilizer over liquid fertilizer any day of the week. Because the majority of what you're paying for is the shipping cost of the bottle and the weight, just to be clear on that. Let's dive into this question though a little bit deeper, because I am trying to just answer the question yes, no. But when you dive into this question and kind of ask yourself, can you use it and should you use it, are two completely different things. And dependent upon your core values personally as a human being and as a grower, can you and should you might take you to two different directions. So let's go ahead and dive a little bit more into the back of Beastie Bloomz and see what types of fertilizers this product is comprised of. Okay, so when you look at the guarantee analysis, first thing you're going to see is available potash at 50%. Sounds pretty good, right? Soluble potash is going to be at 30%. It says you have boron at 0.02. Copper at 0.05, chelated copper at 0.05 as well. Iron, magnesium, and zinc, they're all chelated, so I'm not going to say that again. The iron's going to be at 0.1, the magnesium is going to be at 0.05, and the zinc is going to be at 0.05. So the chelated portions don't comprise a lot of this, although it is in there. When you get to the derived from, you'll see it's derived from monopotassium phosphate, iron EDT, and EDT just stands for chelated. So it's going to be iron, magnesium, zinc, copper, sodium borate, and kelp. Let's go ahead and dive into what is monopotassium phosphate with the question in the forefront of your mind, not in the back of your mind, but in the front of your mind, using this question as a filter prior to you making any decisions. Okay, so that question is, what is your core values, and you know them. For me, my core values is honesty, teamwork, understanding, appreciation, and respect. From there, they assimilate differently depending upon what I'm sending through this value system. So let's go ahead and talk about monopotassium phosphate. Monopotassium phosphate is an inorganic compound. Together with dipotassium phosphate, it is often used as a fertilizer, food additive, and food buffer. The salt is often crystallized with a dipotassium salt as well as with a phosphoric acid. I'm not going to dive into phosphoric acid. In other videos, I've talked about phosphoric acid versus sulfuric acid. And remember, the biggest thing is a phosphoric acid is a man-made acid and a very weak acid, versus sulfuric acid is a naturally occurring acid that's a very strong acid. So monopotassium phosphate is used as an ingredient in sports drinks such as Gatorade and Powerade. So right there, when I hear this, it makes me kind of feel a little bit good, because in the past I have drinking Gatorade and Powerade. I haven't drinking these two things in probably 10 years because I know how much salt goes into them. But for the first thing, when I read this, I'm like, okay, not a big deal. You know, it's like, I don't mind using this product. And then when you look at iron EDT, that's ferric EDT, is a coordination complex form of ferric ions and EDT, which is chelation. EDT has a high affinity for etheric ions. It is a yellowish solid that gives yellowish tinge to the water. Iron chelate is commonly used for agricultural purposes to treat chloris, a condition which leaves produce insufficient chlorophyll. So the first thing right here you kind of want to ask yourself is, why are the plants producing insignificant chlorophyll? I think right here, a lot of times psychologically as a grower, depending upon what you've been taught and who's teaching you and your core values, if someone doesn't actually stop you and say, hey, listen, the plant is going through a deficiency. Why is it going through a deficiency? Let's fix that problem versus just creating a solution to make it look good. Because what I talk about a lot on this channel is about keeping your microbiology alive, right? And when you don't, it shuts down all these functions that the microbiology has in a relationship with your plants. Well, if your chlorophyll isn't producing, it's probably because you're pumping your ground or your soil with a lot of salts, man-made chemicals, and what's happening is it's shutting down your microbiology in your soil, which is then causing your plant to go through some type of an issue. Anyways, though, if you are growing synthetically, which when you are using Fox Farm line, 99% of the whole line is a synthetic fertilizer, you're going to need to use products that have an ion chelated product to solve this problem, because if you don't, because of the other fertilizers you're giving it and shutting down the microbiology, you're going to be running into this issue. So it is good that they're adding this to this mix. All right, so we go to magnesium EDT. This is when it starts to get a little bit weird for me. Again, there's not a lot of this in this product, so it's really not a big deal. The majority of what it's made of is a couple things that I actually support and say, hey, listen, you're using synthetic fertilizer, you're using this line. I can 100% agree why they're putting these products in this solution. The issue with this, though, right here is that when you research magnesium EDT on Wikipedia, there's no such thing as magnesium EDT, okay? And when you Google it, there's not really a lot of things that pop up when you Google it. So that also is a little bit weird. The things that do pop up, though, is greenwaybiotech.com. And what's interesting about this is that when you look up zinc EDT on Wikipedia, you find the same thing. No search is found. When you go to Google, same thing. You end up finding Greenway Biotech. And so Greenway Biotech keeps popping up around copper EDTA. Same thing with Wikipedia, though. No search found. Google search, you have greenwaybiotech.com. And then the last thing is the sodium borate EDT. Again, on Google, there's nothing that pops up except for stuff about DNA and this other thing called triborite, which is also kind of talks about like a health factor and that not being a good thing. So the issue with that is something I have found in the Fox Farm line repetitively. A lot of people might think that I might badmouth companies or maybe even use the word slander. I don't know what word you might want to use, but for me, when I dive into these products, all I do is just turn the bottle, and read the back of it. And then I actually just pull up my phone right there and I just read what it's saying, and I just scroll down and I just read a few things. I don't have like any personal opinion. I actually do a really good job, I think, at removing my personal opinion from Fox Farm, because if I told you like every single thing I knew about this company, you probably wouldn't like the company much anymore. So I leave a lot of my personal out of this, but when I just turn the bottle, around and I start to read it and research it for myself, and I just ask myself, I've kind of have fixed my cognitive dissonance reality in my mind anymore. Once something doesn't make sense, instead of just saying, well, it's no big deal, the majority of it looks good, I dive in deeper. Right. And the first thing is some of the issues with this is that, again, a few of these EDTs, the majority of this product isn't made up of this. So 99% of what this product is made up of, or 98% of what this product is made up of, I support and keep using it, because if you're using the Fox Farm line, you don't want to change from what they recommend. Although for me personally and my core values and me keeping my integrity intact as much as possible throughout my life, that is incredibly important to me. And I know the majority of the zinc and the magnesium and the copper and the sodium borate is only about 2 or 3% of this bottle. But when I use this product throughout the season, and I'm only actually using this product for a couple weeks throughout the grow. Believe it or not, though, when you look at the other products and they have these same products in the backs of the other bottles, which I'll create other videos showing this, you kind of realize that my integrity just on this product line, just to use it, I've already lost 3% of my integrity by using this product line, because I'm using zinc EDT on, because it's in the majority of all their products throughout the entire grow. So right there at the end of my grow, the best I'm going to be able to do is get a 97% producing a product that I'm proud of. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I enjoy getting 100%. And maybe I'm overachiever. I'm not using 100% now as a grade or whatever. I'm using 100% as just making decisions that I'm going to be proud of, where when I harvest my food, when I harvest my medicine, when I'm out in my garden every single day, when my kids are mixing the nutrients with me because they love to do stuff like that, I don't want to be concerned about what they're putting their hands into. I want to know what they're putting their hands into. I want to not be concerned or afraid, because again, I'm a second generation big ag farmer. So my father, when I was growing up, and literally in the back of his truck while he's driving through the thousands of acres in Monterey, California, he would always show me or talk to me about different stories that he'd experienced. And one of the things he'd experienced back in the 70s was a dog that licked the top of a pesticide cap. And within an hour, the dog was convulsing from the mouth and died. And from that point forward, that had dramatically impacted my father enough to use pesticides, but he was a little bit more conscious of how poisonous they could be. And he realized that if one of his kids got into it, his kid would die almost immediately. So again, I feel like maybe I'm a little bit ahead of some people in this area of using my core values to make decisions on how I grow. And once again, it's because I've been layered with stories or experiences of witnessing things that I had to make a decision whether I was going to keep using it, the product, or keep doing that type of method, although it could hurt someone. And then I had to make a decision. What is profit worth more than person's safety, And people call safety and liability, that they kind of mean the same thing in business, but they reference it as liability, right? And for me, that type of liability, it just wasn't worth it to me. I'm the type of person that will spend the extra money on the nice hard hats, make sure everyone has the right equipment. I want to return the person's energy and what they're giving me on a daily basis with conscious effort of improving their life in one way or another. And when I'm using a product that I can only reach 90 right from the bat, right? I'm also going to be dealing with weather conditions, bugs, pests, fungus, who knows, cops, police, neighbors, rain. I'm dealing with all these other things. That 3% right from the bat, when you start to battle all these other things, it begins to take your ability to achieve the highest and best potential that not just your plants can achieve that season, but you as a grower and a gardener, improving your skills overall, and not just the technical skills of growing, but the pleasure around being in your garden. And so, again, I go back, could you use this product and would you use the product? Could you? Yes. And why I like this product is because it's a dry fertilizer, because it goes a long way. Should you use this product? Well, you have to ask yourself and develop your own core values as a person, and then run these decisions through your values filters. For me, personally, when I begin to discover that these products don't exist, there's not a lot of information out there on them, only one company is selling them, which I think green way is probably selling their fertilizers to Fox Farm. And also when I layer the 10 years of experience of witnessing different things with this company, me personally, I probably wouldn't use the Fox Farm line at all, just because I keep finding integrity issues. And for me as a person, I want to be a good person, not just to my community, but to myself overall. I want to be proud of myself at the end of my life, whenever that day ends. So, last but not least, you're going to see kelp, but they don't even tell you what type of kelp, which is, I don't know, for me it's just a little awkward. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful on bringing some awareness around Beastie Bloomz and going over the guaranteed analysis and planting a seed, which hopefully will grow into a plant and produce a flower that you're proud of and you'll be excited to share with your family and friends. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great grow, everyone.